Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and we have Kat from ComicUno and Brant Fowler joining us to talk about the I was going to say top 10 comic dads, but it's the best comic book dads. We each have 10 nominees, and we're going to create a collaborative rank out of all of them. So how's it going, guys?
Doing well. It's been busy for both of us. It's been a busy time, but we're doing well.
Crazy busy, but yeah, doing very well. So can't complain.
Yep, I feel about the same way.
Yeah,
I just survived a weekend of chaos and
yeah,
slept a lot today, but I'm feeling good now.
Well, at least you
Awesome.
rested up. That's important.
Yeah. It's something probably we don't get enough of, so that's good.
No.
Yeah.
We definitely don't.
Okay, so I am hearing in chat that they are getting an echo. I was getting it at first too.
That's so strange. I have not heard it.
I'm wondering because it kind of calmed down. I'm wondering if they'll catch up to us. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on that for now.
Now let us know if there's anything we can do to be non-echoey.
Yeah, because I have one it's all just in one audio place, so it shouldn't be doing that. I'm just looking around for anything else that might cause that.
Let me see.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix all the audio stuff on my end too. I apologize for that.
That goes in and out, they're saying.
Okay. Well, we're trying to get a new platform. I'm wondering if I mute OBS. How does that sound?
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just going to be delayed. But in the meantime, I thought we'd start out. You two are kind of here for a reason. You both have Kickstarters for various series, I should say, that you guys are working on. And why don't you each talk about that once? So, Kat, you have a Kickstarter going for Like Father, Like Daughter, number 7, a series that we reviewed on this channel before. But why don't you, in your own words, talk about that? They've heard my words about it a lot.
That's true. You probably put in better words than I could as the author, honestly. It's always better to hear someone else besides myself talking about it. But it's about a high school girl. Father left her to become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him, except for her. And then she inherits his abilities. We're on Kickstarter. We have 15 more days. As low as $1, you get 20 books, 20 indie books. So you back it up for $1, you get a lot of stuff. It's been great, and hope you guys can go support. And it's the theme of this video that we're going to be chatting about. So.
Yes. That's why we picked that.
Yeah. I would say Invulnerable would not be on the top 10 dads list.
I was thinking about that. I thought a lot about how many terrible fathers that I stumbled on in the process of this list. And maybe one day we'll talk about that.
That'll be the next one. Invulnerable will be on the top of that list.
Yes. I was also going to say, you, the viewers, can look forward to my review of Like Father, Like Daughter, number 6, coming out tomorrow. It was supposed to be today, but it'll be tomorrow. Try3 says, where's the link? That is in the video description. After this video is processed, it'll also be up in the top right-hand corner, way over there, where the ranking screen is. But yeah, and Brant, you're new to this channel,
Yes.
So why don't you talk about your Kickstarter a little bit?
Yeah, so mine is for The Last Ember Hunted. It's a brand new arc in my series. And it's The Last Ember is about a teenage girl that gets imbued with these fire abilities. And she later learns that she's the last fire goddess, the last of her kind. And in this arc, there is a serial killer that is hunting down power beings like her that is coming her way. and she's got to deal with that and family drama and bullies at school and all kinds of stuff going on. So her world is kind of falling apart around her.
Great. And just like with Kat's series, that link to that Kickstarter is also in the video description. And like I tried to make it nice and clear for everybody. So yeah, they would both appreciate that support. You get a lot, even just at like donating a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And yeah, these are like the real indie comics. Like we'll review stuff from The Image and those companies every once in a while, but this stuff is entirely funded by viewers like you guys. So any amount you can contribute is great. Kirsten Logan, thanks for joining us in stream. Yep. And I think we'll get started. So Brant, and those of you who haven't seen this type of ranked video before, we are going to each take turn naming a nominee in our top 10. And so the twist this time, compared to past ranking ones, is when everyone said their, like, that nominee. So for example, I'll use one that's been used in chat. Clark Kent. When everyone said Clark Kent, then we talk. That could be as much as one person or all three of us. And the higher, like the more people that have it, the more in theory they'll be higher ranked. And yeah, so when you say your nominee, we'll just sort of let you know if it's on our top 10 or not. And then once like that, like that name's been exhausted, then we can talk about that nomination, why it is, and it'll get placed on this master list here. Does that make sense, Brant?
I think so.
Okay, because if it makes sense for you, it'll kind of as we get going, it'll make more sense anyways.
Sure.
Apparently there's still an echo, but if it's coming and going, I can live with that. I'm guessing that's just like YouTube being or like the data being slow at some point or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't really hear it anymore. I don't know about you guys.
I haven't heard it once, which is what's the weirdest part? Because usually when there's an echo, you're like, all right, it's coming from Brant, or it's coming from Kat. And it's just like, I hear absolutely nothing. So it's so interesting to see that.
Yeah, I don't hear it. I never heard it either. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, Try3 says it's better. So thanks for letting us know. Now,
better is good.
Yeah. Now, generally, I try and make the newest person get to go first. And, so they go first so that they can pick the number one spot. But I kind of was doing the math, and I think we have to do the opposite. I'm not 100% sure on that, so if it doesn't work. Sorry, what are you saying, Kat?
I was saying then Brant goes last. Or I guess, if in the end, it's just like, Brant, you pick.
Well, and it goes around in a loop kind of thing. So to that end, I'm going to go first. Kat, you're going to go second. And Brant, you're going to go third for our number 10. And then we flip that. And then we just keep flipping that. Oh, okay. And congratulations to Karsten Logan. He is leaving stream because he is off to go get his grad photos.
Nice.
Congratulations, man.
Congrats.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, I guess I go first. So my number 10 comic book dad is Marco from Saga.
Nice. And we're supposed to say where it landed on our list, right?
No, you just let me know whether or not it's there.
It is there.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make a little mark, and I don't say anything else. And then Kat, you are next.
My number 10 is Ben Parker, so Uncle Ben.
Okay, I don't have that one.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk about why I didn't include that. But
I mean, he is dead. So.
Yeah.
That's why he's my number 10.
Oh, and obviously, it has nothing to do with biology. I have adoptive fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. A dad's a dad.
Okay.
Okay, so then.
And also, spoiler alert for any of these dads that appear.
Oh, yeah. I assume that was kind of given for people, but that's a good point. There will be spoilers. There is stuff that like when I were going to talk about it, I'm probably going to give away some things. Although
especially Marco for Saga.
I was going to say Marco, we might dance around a little bit.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't reveal it, even though it's like a year old. But
I don't know. I think it's 2 years old. I read a little like news thing about that or something.
Yeah,
it's crazy how long that series has been on hiatus.
I guess it's
Sorry.
my turn.
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay.
I threw myself off there.
That's all right. My number 10 is Scott Lang.
Scott Lang.
Okay, on my list.
Not on mine, but I had to double check.
I love it's your thumbnail though. You're like, nah, I'm good.
When I looked it up, it was one like for an image on the image search. It was one of the first came up, and I was like, oh, perfect. I don't know why. It just got crowded out. Okay.
Dads. There's
a lot.
dads.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brant, now you go again with your number 9.
Okay, my number 9 is a name that was already brought up, Clark Kent.
Okay, I have that on my list.
Not on mine.
Okay, so then Kat, you go with yours.
Mine is Jonathan Kent.
I have that one.
I do too.
Okay. My number 9 is Jonathan Kent.
Okay.
I got excited there for that reason. But we don't talk about it yet because we'll wait until Brant says. No nominations. So that already cuts out quite a few numbers there.
Yeah.
We agree quite a bit. My number 8 is Buddy Baker.
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, I wish I thought of that.
I don't know who Buddy Baker is, actually.
That is the Animal Man over on DC.
Oh, okay.
So that is our first one. That was a last minute addition. Like you said, Kat, like when I thought of it, I was like, oh, okay. Slipped right by me. Wasn't on any of those nominee lists. But Buddy Baker, well, okay. He originally appeared in, I believe, 11 Golden Age comics before Grant Morrison reinvented the character. Sorry, I'm just bringing up his image. That should, good enough.
Just in case you're like Brant doesn't know who he is.
Yeah. So Animal Man can evoke the power of animals. Grant Morrison wrote a really cool series, I believe in the late 80s, early 90s. And he's kind of has this family right there. He's got a wife and 2 kids. This is their slightly older iteration from the New 52. But overall, I really like both the Grant Morrison version, and even if you took that aside, I even like the New 52 version and his relationship with his children. And he represents like a nice father role, although I am very comfortable with him kind of being at the bottom because he's kind of away sometimes.
He is usually away, except when his daughter gets those powers.
Yeah.
All right, I guess you can hang out with me. I really
like during the New 52 when the kids get infected with the raw.
Oh,
Good times.
that was so good.
Yeah, believe it or not, I actually read that run. I read the New 52.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it, and I liked his daughter. I remember liking his daughter.
Yeah. I don't think it's the first name people think of, but I'm happy with him being somewhere on this list. Okay.
Even if it's last.
Well, like I said, I'm comfortable with that too. There's a lot of fathers on here that I had to weigh all of their actions, like against whether or not they were technically a good dad, including some we've mentioned so far. Okay, so that was my number 8. Kat, what is yours?
Mine is James Gordon.
James Gordon. I considered that one, but he's not on my list.
Not on mine either.
Okay.
There we go. The dad number 27.
Well, I don't know. Those numbers are in flux right now.
Yeah, true.
I think it's probably
James Gordon. He, he's not the perfect dad, which is why he's a little lower. Like, he did tell his daughter, you can't be a police commissioner. you can't join the academy. But I think, he always has his heart in the right place. He always wants what's best for his daughter. And when they do have good interactions, they have good interactions. And I wish there was a period where we have a long-lasting in continuity story where James knows that, or Jim knows that his daughter is Batgirl. I feel like we actually could have more evolution in their relationship if we had that piece. Yeah, Jim's a solid dad. He's cool. Not perfect. Solid.
That's one of those nominees I saw, like just on those Google random pages. And I definitely thought about it. But, and Tevye mentions he has a son. But I would argue, like, his son is trouble, because he's like, except for his son.
Who actually makes him even worse dad. Like, his dad relationship really doesn't make him a great dad.
Oh no, that's kind of the context Tevye Smolka was bringing up in chat. So he's not the best dad in the world, but he clearly cares about his daughter. Like, you kind of mentioned some of his missteps with her. It's mostly just a function of being a little overprotective.
Yeah.
And given his role as a police commissioner in Gotham, like, that makes sense. But I was going to say also, like, I'm okay with him kind of being a little lower on the list.
Yeah.
Me too.
With Buddy Baker.
Yeah.
All right, Brant. What is your number 8?
It's me. Wally West.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know.
I
if
thought
he
about
made
that,
it.
but I don't have that.
Yeah, he just missed it for me, because I think I had it on the list, but he also, like, especially recently, well, I don't know, I guess recently it makes him a good dad, but maybe a little bit overboard in some regards of what he's done.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely some things that he's done that would make him not a good person in general, let alone a father. But yeah, just his relationship with his kids before and after that incident is, just right up there with the top. Like, they were on another planet or in another dimension at some point, and
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, but he was learning his kids could die from the Speed Force, and he was trying to protect them from that. And it seemed like they had a really good family unit until the New 52 kind of wiped that all away. So
I think their relationship, like him and his children, is very touching, even though DC hasn't been great with it.
Right. Yeah.
That's a solid character. It's also, I think there's more meaning to it because, like, we've seen Wally since he was a kid and he grew up and then became the Flash. So it feels like something that character earned and grew into.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
And he had some pretty cool parental figures in his life too, with Jay Garrick and Barry Allen, and kind of use that with his own kids. So.
Yep. Tevye and Smolka in chat pretty much just agreeing with it, saying Wally West and his children are fantastic. They all recently appeared in Death Metal in that Speed Metal issue, but that kind of gets into what you were saying, Kat, and why I didn't pick him too, which is like it almost gets a little schmaltzy.
Yeah, again, recent years.
Yeah, in recent years.
Like, if you look back before the New 52, I think he would have been on this list. He was a cool dad, but it's hard for me to ignore what's happened in the past 3 years.
Yeah, and for sure.
There's also just like huge gaps where those characters have been completely absent too.
True.
Which didn't help with my impression. But that's a good character and another one I'm glad got on here. Okay. So then, Brant, you give us your first the number 7 dad.
All right. I don't think either one of you are going to have this one. It's from indie book Birthright. It's Aaron Rhodes.
That's a good one, though. I did not pick it. That's a good pick. I at least have read the book to say yes. Yeah. That's good.
I think I need a visual cue.
So he's oh man, I don't know.
He's
so like an image of him.
Yeah. It's so like Birthright. The kid gets like taken into this other world, and while he's gone, everybody thinks the father killed him. And in the meantime, he's been growing up in this fantasy world and fighting this war. And he comes back, and the father is obviously exonerated, but he never lost faith that they would find him. And as soon as even though he was a grown man when he came back, and it had only been a few years, he just embraced him right away and did everything possible to help him. So I thought he was a really good father figure in that book.
Aaron Rhodes.
And I agree. I think that whole family dynamic is so interesting and not weird, but I guess weird. You know, you had a son who's 7, who's now like 30, I'm guessing. So, and how you still supposed to be a father to him. And yeah, it was an interesting ride. I think it's on its final arc now. So see how it all ends.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad 2 of you have read that one. That was a challenge because there were series that's like, oh, I wish I had all the time in the world to read some of these. Some of the indie ones I considered, I did know, but that's awesome.
It's harder with the indies because there's just so much, and you're just like, oh my god, it's
But that's great. Kat, if you want to go next.
Mine is Luke Cage. You know what? Jessica is always on the run. Luke's got to take care of Danny all the time.
Sounds good.
Did anyone else have Luke Cage?
I was gonna ask.
No, he just missed mine. So
I that was another one I considered, but yeah, I don't have that either.
Well, my statement stands then. But yeah, he's a cool dad. I think he's sacrificed a lot to be a dad. So yeah.
I agree with that.
I only wish it was explored a little more.
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, a lot of off panel.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like if you can't tell, that was why I was a little reluctant to include that one. Well, not reluctant, but like I didn't. So, but that's another excellent choice. Okay, by the time I find the images, we're pretty much done talking about them. So I'm just gonna stop trying that. Yeah, I did notice that in chat, but I'm out of tricks to like try for that. So,
it's echoing
we're
again.
just gonna have to hope for the best, and maybe I'll try that StreamYard next time.
StreamYard's usually pretty solid.
All right. So it's my turn. Let me just. So my number 7 is Alfred Pennyworth, one I suspect I'm not going to talk about right now.
Yeah, no, it's on my list.
It's definitely on my list. Yeah.
Okay then. Okay. Oh, and then I go again, and my number 6 is Thomas Wayne.
Oh, not on my list.
Definitely not on my list. No.
No. Okay. Well, I'll maybe clarify. Not the one that dresses up in a pantsuit.
Yeah, not personally.
Right.
Wayne, I was guessing.
The one that died in Alley. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, the one who just died. And
I really like that
Thomas,
version.
though. You like that one? I was going to say the thing with Thomas is that we don't know much about him.
Yeah.
The other version.
That version, I was thinking about comics and stories, and they often evoke like he's a doctor, and the kind of doctor who would go out and make house calls to his patients like long after that was like traditionally a thing, and really cared about his son and instilled these values in him. Alfred talks about him sometimes and that sort of thing, and even more complicated but not Tom King versions of him, such as what's it called, the Telltale version. That's the word I was looking for, where he like kidnaps and experiments people. Like, that's a terrible human being, but it's also made clear like he clearly cared about his son, and they didn't expose him to that life for any of his criminal ties in that series, which I found interesting. I am comfortable with him being relatively lower. Maybe it's unfortunate he snuck ahead of Luke Cage, but
yeah, Luke, Buddy, I don't know. Thomas, he is ahead. Poor Luke.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like the character.
Yeah, Thomas is, again, it's an interesting one because of I think it's cool that a lot of times we haven't seen it on panel. It's a lot of like what people thought of him. You only have what others, involvement was, and that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah. And there's like flashbacks and stuff, which I think do something to inform the character. I will say, in general, I avoided a lot of the dead relatives. Ben Parker isn't on my list, and Thomas Wayne snuck up to number 6, but has always been relatively low. But yeah. So Kat, you're next with your number 6.
Mine is Cable.
I have Cable. That's cool.
Not me.
Ooh.
So Brant, it goes to you.
Okay. Professor X.
Okay.
Okay.
Definitely one I considered, but I don't have.
I don't have him either.
You don't?
No.
Yeah, it's okay. So Professor X, he's not without his flaws either, obviously. But at the beginning, he takes in all these kids that are kind of, tossed away by society and their families, and takes them in and teaches them and nurtures them and guides them and becomes kind of a father to a bunch of people, right? Father figure at the very least. And I think in the beginning, until he kind of took a dark twist and then died. He was very caring, very what's the word? Empathetic towards all of them. Obviously with his abilities, he could feel their pain and relate to each and every single one of them in whatever they needed. So.
Yeah, there's always been a sense of genuine care. I was going to say Patrick Stewart helps that, because he always
I agree.
with him.
Yeah, I agree.
Ultimate Professor X does not.
No, and also House of X / Jonathan Hickman's Professor X. It's so hard.
Yes.
He's very different now as well, and
I think that version has seen some horrible things happen to his children, and doesn't want that to happen.
That's true. Maybe
that is
in
true.
some regards that makes him an okay dad. He's not a great human being.
Yeah. Tevye, well, one thing he says, too bad Flashpoint Batman basically tried to kill his son, and it's like, hey, I'm not talking about that version. Tom King's version doesn't count. And then he said he brought up what about Hickman, Professor X, but we addressed that, and then he brought up Franklin Richards, which is a fair point.
Yeah,
he's more complicated these days.
He is very much so.
I still like that character, and I definitely thought about it. I was like, well, it's weighed down by all that other stuff, and but still a solid choice for sure. Okay, so next I believe it's Kat with your number 5.
Mine is
Hold on, Brant, have you done your number 5?
No.
Sorry, I skipped you.
Okay.
Because you had to go twice.
Right. All right. So my number 5 is Rick Grimes from Walking Dead.
That was what I was thinking of.
I have that one on my list.
Okay.
So we will talk about that later. Okay, now Kat, you go with your number 5. Sorry.
It's okay. Mine is Captain George Stacy, the Earth 65 Gwen Stacy version.
Okay. The Spider Gwen version?
Spider Gwen.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
He is on my list.
Oh, nice.
Cool. A good dad.
He is a great dad.
Yes. But we'll talk about that more in a bit. My number 5 is Peter Parker.
On my list as well.
Okay.
Not mine.
I wasn't sure about that one. Okay, my number 4 is Rick Grimes, and I know that one we are talking about. Actually, that would be like, by my best estimate, 13.
See,
Rick Grimes,
we are. Rick Grimes, for me, I guess he's a good dad. He's not a great person. That's what makes it kind of muddy, right?
Go ahead.
I was just saying he's great to Carl.
I would say, given the insane crap that Rick Grimes has lived through, he's a great dad. It's like a best case scenario in a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And I admire that. But Brant, he was your nominee too. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just like you said, with the circumstances surrounding them, it's almost impossible to be a good parent in that kind of world. And I think he was the best example of one in the Walking Dead series, for me at least. He always had Carl's concern first. It was all about protecting his family and protecting his child, and he did what he had to do to make sure that they stay safe.
Yep, I would say that holds pretty much true for both the show and comic version.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if you disagree, but I definitely didn't distinguish them personally. They're both great dads, very down to earth compared to a lot of other characters on this list, which I quite like. Okay, so Kat, who is your number 4?
My number 4 is Peter Parker, MC2 universe. So now we both have Peter Parker.
Okay, I definitely included it. I decided to be more broad than that because there's other Peter Parker dads teased out there, and I didn't. They're all great. MC2 counts for sure. Definitely
not a good the J.J. Abrams one. He was not a good dad in that one though.
Yeah, but
we don't count.
Okay, so I guess not that one either.
Yeah.
So everyone but that. But I do. I was gonna say Renew Your Vows. I really like him too, so I kind of wanted to include those. And I just feel like there's a lot of potential there. Even just knowing Peter Parker as a character is like, oh, that'd be a great dad, even beyond what we've seen.
Yeah, if I'd remembered Renew Your Vows, I would have probably included him. I never read Spider-Girl, so I didn't know that from there. Yeah,
it's pretty great.
It's a great book.
Kat keeps telling me.
And you would like it. The thing is, you definitely like it.
Yeah, I know.
So much about old school Spider-Man.
Right. It's very classic. I guess is it 90s?
90s to 2000s.
Yeah.
That does not make sense, but you know what I mean. Through 2000s, we'll say.
But definitely of that era, I feel.
Oh yeah, it was such a good book. And what I liked about Peter in particular in that is that he actually gave up being Spider-Man for his daughter. He also lost his leg, so that was an issue. He kind of gave up. But in the beginning, he was very defensive, kind of like the Jim Gordon route of oh, you can't do this. But after a couple issues, you're like, okay, you can do this. Just be careful. I'm going to train you. He was just a good dad. He worried, but he also kind of gave the space May needed to be her own hero. It was good stuff.
Very supportive father. I was also going to say, I agree with everything about MC2. I also really like in the Renew Your Vows Secret Wars tie-in, there's just this great moment where he dons a Spider-Man suit again to stand up for his wife and kid, and I really like that moment too. And it's that kind of thing that made me include him on my top 10. Okay, so Brant, who is your number 4?
My number 4 is George Stacy from Spider-Man.
Cool.
Nice.
I was surprised because I didn't even think of that one really. I think I considered the character in general, but and you both had that specific version.
Yeah.
I feel like the other version is harder to go with because I feel like when regular universe Gwen is kind of two-dimensional, kind of cardboard, and you don't really get to see their relationship that much. But in the Spider-Gwen stuff, that's the staple of the book. It's about them. And Edge of Spider-Verse, that first issue of Spider-Gwen, it's about her revealing to her dad that she's Spider-Gwen. And that's the whole propeller to the rest of the series. Well, what do I do? This person I thought was a vigilante is my daughter.
Yeah, see, the way they handle him in Spider-Gwen is the way that I wish James Gordon and Batgirl were. That's the dynamic that I see, with them if he was accepting and knew her identity and all that stuff. So I think, it was kind of a wake-up call for him, and he adjusted his worldview to kind of reconnect with his daughter, and still doesn't, still worries about her, still maybe doesn't completely agree with her, but supports her and is always there for her. And it's a really strong relationship between us two.
Yeah, and it obviously has room to grow, which is also fun. Good dad, man. Good dad.
Yeah.
I was almost going to say like a almost a superior version to James Gordon in some ways because it's a similar dynamic, but just able to get behind her in a certain way.
Yeah,
that's a great choice. I just straight up didn't think of. But that's what's cool about this.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, Bat City Stuff says, best comic book dads, Fred Andrews from Archie Comics. I didn't really think of that one.
I didn't either.
Certainly, Luke Perry from Riverdale is like probably worth as an honorable mention. I don't have that. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a cool shout out. So thank you, Bat City. Spelled with an S for city, by the way. Jen Solomon says, Wally is one of the worst dads. You're supposed to look up to your dad, but he killed so many heroes.
Yeah, well, he made our list.
Right.
There was that. Yeah.
Listen, we can't. If we're going to count Tom King, no character is going to survive this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Except maybe Mr. Miracle. He actually kind of went out of his way. I don't know if you guys read Mr. Miracle.
No.
That book was about like,
that would have been. I didn't think of that for this.
I didn't until you mentioned, Tom King doesn't make good dads. I'm like, except that.
Mr. Miracle is great. I'm not caught up, but I really enjoyed Strange Adventures so far too. I haven't touched Rorschach.
See, I didn't like Strange Adventures. I didn't like Rorschach, but Mr. Miracle. Also, Vision's a good dad.
Vision. Yeah.
I thought about Vision for sure.
I didn't think about him, but oh well.
Vision's complicated, thanks to his spouse.
I was gonna say, maybe he's not. Well, I guess he's an okay dad.
I don't know if he did anything wrong.
Yeah, he did a lot.
Also, Teppy brought up an interesting point. I'm curious about what your opinions is. He's saying, too bad Spider-Man is trapped in the main universe. I don't hate that. I was wondering how you two feel about that.
I don't think she's trapped necessarily because she still goes back and forth. I think it just depends on which writer is writing her. I think it gives a little flexibility.
I like the flexibility. I don't know if that's what he meant.
I agree. I like it too because you get the best of both worlds. You get Gwen Stacy or a version of her in the 616, but you still get to enjoy her in her world too.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
I see a comment. Adrian says, "What about the dad from Invincible? He'd be also on the worst dad list."
Yeah.
I saw someone put it on their best of list just on a random site online, and they were really focusing on the redemptive arc and that aspect of it, and they made a very compelling case. I didn't get past it. I couldn't get past his earlier storyline or whatever you want to call it. I was jokingly thinking of Invulnerable in your series, Kat.
He has a good redemption arc at least. I'll give Vulnerable. Invincible's dad. I think he becomes like an okay human being. I don't know if he becomes like the best dad. He leaves his kid to go to like outer space for a while. So
and comes back with another kid. Let's not forget about that.
And then like having all other family out there.
It's like, okay, you take care of this one too, you know? No, I can't get behind that.
The mom though is maybe the best mom of
If we're doing best moms, that's different.
Yeah.
That's a very different story. And there's a better like options out there in the world of indie comics. I feel when it comes to moms.
Yeah, I think like the mainstream comics don't have a lot though. I think Sue Richards, cool. Who else you got? They're all dead. And also going back to like my daughter, Jessica would not be on the good mom list either. So Casey just doesn't have any good parents. That's also an interesting list.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying one thing with the audio because I started hearing echoing again.
I haven't heard it.
Okay. Well, I just got rid of something that was already muted, so I don't think that helped. Okay. Which of you who said George Stacy just now? Sorry,
I think it was Brant.
Me,
Yeah.
So which
number
number
four.
was that for you?
That was my number 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then you go again with your number 3. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. My number 3 is Ben Parker. Excuse me, Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, gotcha. I don't have that one, so that would be next.
All right. So, I mean, obviously, we didn't get to see a whole lot of their relationship because he died very early, but I feel like who Peter Parker is largely in part of Uncle Ben's influence. And so everything that's good about Peter Parker comes from, Ben and May. And his whole philosophy is based on something that Uncle Ben said to him, with great power must also come great responsibility. And I feel like for that alone, it kind of proves how great of a father figure that he was to Peter. So.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And going into flashbacks and stuff like that in every universe, he's just been a solid dad, very impactful father figure.
Absolutely.
Yep. I think I'm just tired to a degree of this character, and I
understand that.
Nothing wrong with the character. I knew he would end up here, and I was just like, there's so many dads I wanted to talk about that I was willing to just sort of let that play out. And I don't have anything against the character or anything like that. I definitely considered it at one point or another, but I get it. With great power comes great responsibility.
I get your side of it too. I understand.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't hate the character or anything like that. I don't want that to be misread or anything like that.
Right.
So, Kat, who is your number 3?
Mine is Marco from Saga. So I think we can, unless Brant, did you have Marco as well?
Did not.
Okay, so there we go.
Big difference in our level, but I definitely agree it's a great hat.
I also think his whole entire arc is defined by his fatherhood,
Yes.
And that's why I kind of put him up so high, because that's like the whole story. And we will not spoil what happened 2 years ago, but I think that was a very impactful moment as well.
Definitely secured him a position on this list. I think we could do people a favor of not. I don't know. I was going into this stream. That was one thing I was kind of wanted to dance around a little bit for whatever reason.
Because
that series is so good.
It's so good, A, and then B, it's a series that people really binge. It's not like it's not really a book of, I mean, people I'm sure do read the single issues, but I just know a lot lot more people read the trades. But that's in trades. It's so hard, man. It's such a hard series to talk about. But it's such a good series to talk about. And I think Brian K. Vaughan, thank you. Brian K. Vaughan makes is amazing. Trying to think if there's any other dad figures he's ever done that's been good. I don't think so. I feel like all the stuff he writes has to do with like families.
Runaways.
Runaways.
Runaways is exclusively bad fathers.
Yes.
Paper Girls has no dads. So, I don't think he really does the dads very well. Yeah, Runaways. Again, horrible dads, like every dad in the Runaways.
All there's a lot of dads there. I didn't even think about them until just now, but
they all suck.
Yeah. At best, a couple of them have like a couple of redemptive moments immediately before they die. But I was just going to say, Marco is like the emotional crux of this series. I really think he's a strong character that drives like a lot, or the whole fatherhood and motherhood aspect of those characters, like drives the whole series and is the launch point of the thing. And just a great choice overall. So my number 3 is Arsenal. I don't know if anyone else.
Not on my list. Not on my list
either.
I definitely see why. Roy is a good dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just been such a long time since we've seen him as a dad. I think that's why he's not on my list.
Well, then that really gets into it. I really like those, I guess, mid-era Titans books where Arsenal had Lee in his custody and he was looking out for her and he had to weigh that against being a Titan. He was well past his addiction at that point, but it kind of informed his character growth. And I just think he's a strong character overall. It's frustrating that the daughter was nuked or something horrible. And then just wiped away from the New 52 entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, poor Leanne, right? I think that was her name.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah.
But before that, Arsenal was great dad. Okay, so we'll move on to our number two, which for me is Cable.
Nice.
I think we talk about Cable now.
Yeah.
And we probably picked Hope Summers, right?
Oh man, Hope, come on. Like that his whole entire arc, especially I guess I'm probably more about your go at this point. When Hope was introduced, that was like his whole thing was to keep Hope safe. So that's why Cable is a good daddy. Time travel for that girl. And they're also not blood related, if I remember correctly. I don't think they're blood related. So that's also pretty cool.
She took his name, but she was just some random baby, and her mom was murdered by angry Grease.
Yeah,
the purifiers.
Hope is such an underused character. I wish they used her more.
I like how she's kind of become a sort of savior figure to new race again in the era of Koa.
Yeah.
That is pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you'd like to know more about Cable being a great dad, you should check out Cable Volume 2. I just had to get the volume number right. But that's the time travel stuff Kat was referring to. And it's so good. It's probably one of my favorite solo X-Men books out there.
It's really good. Definitely my favorite Cable story.
Absolutely. I agree.
Many years.
Yeah.
So that's how it ended up number 2 for me. I love that character. Especially in that series and just as a father role. Yeah.
I didn't even think about him, so it just that's just what it was. Yeah.
But okay, so Kat, we go to your number 2.
Mine is Alfred. So.
All right. Brant, he's still on your list?
Yeah, he's on my list.
Oh, yeah. So we'll not talk about it. Yes? Well, what are your number 2? Oh, I did it wrong.
Sorry.
No, I made a mistake. It's okay.
Okay. That's okay. My number 2 is Jonathan Kent.
Okay.
That's all 3 of us. So that's pretty appropriate right at the top here.
I feel like he's very much in that Ben mentality. Even though we do see him a bit more than Uncle Ben. But just Superman's a good dude because of his parents.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan Kent, he's like, oh, dead. You know, so he's been around a while. So.
I can tell you why I included John Kent and not Uncle Ben. And it comes down to Smallville, of all things.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. He was on that show for a long time.
They're both strong characters in the comics, and they had a huge influence on big name superheroes. But Smallville, he had a big role, and I was never a big fan of that show or anything. But I remember that character death, which I guess we are getting away. But that show is ancient at this point.
Yeah.
But I think it revolved around prom and all this stuff, and it was just really well handled. That actor is great. So that just kind of made the difference for me over Ben. And that had an effect on our ranking because of it, which I stand by. He's a cool dad.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's been so many great versions of the character throughout the history of Superman too. You know, you see Clark, Smallville, like so on and so forth, There's a lot of great versions of him, versions that are all really great examples. Really great examples. You know, just really good person. You know, just really kind of the dad that I think a lot of people probably wish they had. A lot of people probably wish they had.
Yeah. That is great. Sorry, I'm just fiddling. I got a bit of a really bad echo for a second there, but I agree. I also was going to say, I like that he's alive in a lot of different continuities and canons, in spite of what I just said about Smallville. It's great when Superman can go and talk to his dad and get advice about stuff. I really like that dynamic. He's a good grandpa too. The only one on the list, that we've talked about so far. And I guess we'll leave it at that. That's great. Okay. Now normally we would go next, but I think part of it's because I didn't know what our final tally will be. So I'm going to go next to do the number, three potentially. My number one dad is Clark Kent.
Okay. Clark's not on my list.
He's on my list. Well, he was, yeah.
Yeah, you already said him. Yeah. So that will be our number 3 overall. And the Kent father and son are right beside each other on the final rankings, which is cool.
That's cool.
I think Clark Kent be the best dad ever, but I specifically included him because of the Rebirth era comics, Superman and Action Comics by Tomasi and Jurgens, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so good. He's just a great dad. I really like his dynamic, John.
Yeah. I mean, it started with Convergence and went into Rebirth with that whole dynamic, and I think he's been fantastic with John. Both when he was still a 10-year-old and when he came back as a 15-year-old or whatever. I think he's handled that all very well, and he's kind of learned from all the lessons of Pa Kent and kind of instilled them in his own son. So
yeah. That sort of informed my opinion of Jonathan Kent, like the older one too.
Yeah.
And I do not care for Bendis era stuff where they sort
That's what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
I like that's what I was gonna say. I like the Rebirth stuff. Not the Rebirth stuff. Well, I guess a little bit. The Tomasi stuff. I enjoyed that. And then it went to the Bendis stuff where I just felt like the drama got really weird. And then I honestly didn't like when Jonathan became like a 15-year-old, and I thought that was strange. And also I feel like Superman doesn't really interact with John anymore. Like I feel like they ignore each other. So that's what made it really hard for me to put Clark on this list. Even though obviously the other stuff was good.
I think a big part of this top 10 is just to what degree we're able to overlook some things and focus on other things. Like Cable's kind of an example of that. Well, he was dead for most of the current era X-Men stuff, so that's why he isn't around for Hope.
He's a teenager now, so makes things hard.
Well, and one thing is that he did such a good job raising her. She doesn't need him anymore. He made her fully independent in a future of hell and misery, which is great. Okay, so then, Kat, what is your number one dad?
Mine is Scott Lang, because he became Ant-Man for his daughter to help her, have a heart. And it was anything he does is about Cassie. Anything. So Scott's my number one.
Oh, he was on my list and just got shuffled out, basically. He's a great dad. That thumbnail is one of my favorite dad moments, where they're got reunited after he died for a while.
That's another good point, honestly, too, is how much they fought for each other. So, Cassie became Stature because her dad died. And no, I want to be him, even though my mom doesn't want that. Then she found a way to bring him back, and then she died right in that moment. And then all Scott's jury is like, I need to bring my daughter back. And now they're both back together, and no writer has done them correctly. So that makes things hard.
Yeah, see, that's my problem too. And it's like, even though everything he does is for her, and I mean, obviously he was on my list, but he's a little bit lower. Everything he does is for her, but at the same time, he does a lot of crappy stuff.
That's
you know?
true. But never to ruin Cassie's life,
No.
to ruin his own life. And that's
True.
He's still a good dad. He's just not a good person.
He definitely makes a lot of mistakes, and that kind of pulled him back. But I will say, I had trouble letting go of this one, like from my top 10. Like in no small part because I also really like Paul Rudd, and like that whole fatherhood aspect of it in his character. You kind of have to ignore some of the decisions he made in Civil War, but I'm okay with that.
Oh, me too. I'm so excited for Ant-Man 3. Cassie older. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we have one more dad, but someone in chat made an interesting point that all three of us did. Well, maybe. Oh no, I know for sure. I know which will be number one then. But none of us said Wolverine, which is interesting.
He's not a great dad. Like I think Laura almost
his actual children
hate
him.
I mean,
he's like, that's my father figure, go you, but not his real kids.
Right, his real kids, it's like, I got kids.
Like it's like your arguments for your Kitty Pryde, Armor, I'm sure there's more just along the way. It's pretty strong, but like Dokken and Laura.
Gabby, all of them. He just ignores them so hard.
Right.
I couldn't put them on the list. As big as a Kitty Pryde fan I am, and I love their relationship. I can't.
And I definitely thought about it too.
I did too. Yeah.
I'm glad someone brought it up because they didn't. Jubilee is another good example of daughter role.
He was a great father to the kids that were his. Yeah, absolutely.
Tevye also mentioned Ultimate Captain America. I didn't even know that version.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't
Apparently, he turned into Red Skull.
Oh, that doesn't sound like he's a good dad.
Yeah. So he retracted the statement when he remembered that. I should say.
Okay.
Because that doesn't sound great. Okay, so Brant, who is you can tell us our number one. Well, I go ahead and type it in.
Sure, Alfred Pennyworth.
Yes.
Good number one.
Because on my list, on Pat's list, an easy choice in terms of like a strong, excellent dad.
Because he's also a dad, not just to Bruce. He's a dad to all those kids. So he's got so many kids.
Yeah.
That's where I hesitated on Grandpa, because it's like, well, I don't know what you like. Damien, I guess, would count in that regard, but I've always thought of him as kind of a father to all of those characters, and an excellent one.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, before this stream aired, someone said, "Oh, Bruce shouldn't be on this list. If anyone puts him on, they've given him a lot of benefit of the doubt there, or forgiven a lot."
Yeah,
and none of us did.
Yeah.
I would say Alfred was the glue that held Bruce and Damien and a lot of the other Robins together, but especially Damien. Some of my favorite Bruce, Damien, father-son moments were specifically instigated by Alfred.
Yeah.
And he's gone now. Spoilers, I guess. And their relationship is falling apart, and I think that makes a lot of sense for all those characters.
I love that. Yeah, I much as I hate that Alfred, what happened to him. I do like how it's thread into the Bat family. I think it's very raw and good.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And I was gonna say, Jen Solomon was alarmed. None of us picked Bruce, but I don't think he's a great dad. And you guys clearly agree. I'm preaching to the choir there, but I believe he's distant and cold. Like I said, Alfred is a huge part of when he is a good dad, and when he is like a lot of those lessons come from Alfred to begin with. So
Yeah.
and also
Bruce is a great mentor.
Yeah.
He's a great, teacher, just not a great
he can
father.
be.
Yeah, he can be, yes. So
And that really depends on the writer. And that's a huge thing with all these characters. But I would say Alfred is pretty consistently good in that regard. As an excellent father, even so late into Bruce's adulthood and stuff. And cares about the guy. I am not a fan of how they killed him off either. But I do like some of the stuff they've done with it, especially over in Teen Titans. For what's left of that run. And Damien's character. I think that's interesting and fits with Alfred.
yeah, I agree.
Oh, and then Adrian brings Frank Miller just as an example of Bruce being a poor father, which is true. I was kind of going to give him the benefit of the doubt beyond that, because that's also a bad mentor. But that's not a great Batman. And there we go. That's our list. 19, which my guess was 18, so right about where I was thinking. And I'm pretty happy with this list. I don't know how you two did.
Yeah,
Brandon G in chat says recount.
Personally, I don't know about that one. See that one in the comments.
But, it's all subjective and stuff, but I like this. I agree with Alfred Pennyworth, like taking a number one spot. All three of us brought him up, and I think that's an excellent dad. Nothing else I strongly disagree with or anything like that.
No, I think this is a good list overall.
It's 18.
Oh, wow,
made a mistake here, so. But, like a decent level of agreement. Everyone's got like their own personal little flares that ended up here. I was going to say I haven't read Birthright, but I did see it nominated at some point while doing my research, and it did sound like a strong one. Brandon G brings up Master Splinter. Didn't think of that.
Oh, I didn't think of that one either. That would have been a good one.
That's a strong choice.
I
didn't think of it either. I probably would have included it, to be honest.
I probably would have too.
This was a tough one to do.
I've actually got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt on.
Oh, you should have thought about it.
This is a tough list. It's one of those things I found, like, I had trouble coming up with 10. I did a little bit of research online, and then I had too many. And then it became a negotiation. I also kept thinking of bad dads.
A couple I put on my list, and I was like, then I did research, and I was like, oh, that he really wasn't a great dad. So
a lot of Dragon Ball Z characters.
That's true. I'm surprised Mr. Fantastic didn't make our list.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's always so ingrained in science. He ignores his kids.
He's largely absent.
He's made so many mistakes. Someone brought up the Fantastic Four X-Men crossover. He ain't a good dad in that story.
I think Sue is a good mom.
Yeah.
Like, I think she balances her life as, career superhero slash, spy with still being a present mom.
I think Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm are excellent uncles. There's not a lot of great uncle examples in comics, so that's
except
one.
Uncle Ben. And then you have those uncles. That'd be another fun one.
Yeah, that would be good. And I hadn't even thought about that until that just now. So I'm gonna quietly write that down. But what was I gonna say? Someone said a bad dad list would be great. I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that one day because there were so many excellent nominees.
Oh yeah, I would love that. I see Tevia mentioned the Wolverine. Logan's a great dad with Laura. See, I don't think he ever was up for Laura. I don't know. I feel like sometimes he was okay with her.
I give him a bit of an excuse with, he didn't know about her for a long time. So there's that. He's great in the movie Logan. I don't know if that's what he meant.
No, the movie
Kind
Logan,
of.
I think, is a good example.
Yeah.
But then after that, like, I think they always like chill for a second and be like, hey, and then they get awkward and they just leave each
Yeah.
other. You know, they never do anything together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was also going to say, I seriously consider Doctor Doom. I think he's a good dad to Larry. I don't know if he's
a good dad.
He is.
He's a good uncle.
The thing is, I think he has a son, like in that area, and he's not a good dad to that character.
He's only a good uncle to Val.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and he doesn't
Or, like,
do much with Franklin.
Yeah.
It's because he thinks
Val's
on his level. He only respects people that are on his level.
True.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was great. Thanks for doing that with me, guys. That was a lot of fun. Like we said at the beginning of this stream, there's 2 awesome Kickstarters you can check out in the video description below. And yeah, I don't know if there's any other last words you guys wanted to have for anything like that.
I'm good. Thank you for having us. This was so much fun. I had a blast.
It was fun.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I
had a lot
will
of fun.
thank our viewers for participating, but we will not use this. What was it? This was OBS Ninja. I had heard really good things about it, and like in testing, largely our experience has been good. But I don't know what this video sounds like, and hopefully it's not too bad. But next time we'll do it a little different. I just liked it because I had complete control over like each of our individual bits, which was like video screens, which is helpful.
Yeah.
But next time we'll just use like that StreamYard platform or like Skype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, until next time, thanks a lot, everybody. And we'll see you next time here on Comic Island.